name is Rachel Pearl, and I believe that a college education should be free in the United States of America. In the year 2012, the student loan debt exceeded the amount Americans owe on credit cards by $1 trillion. The average amount of debt for students upon the time of graduation is usually around $29,400. 10% of these borrowers also have $50,000 in outstanding payments. 70% of seniors graduated with debt. In the year 2015, the total student debt was $1.225 trillion. As you can see, it has raised over $400 billion in the last 4 years alone. This means that the national student debt is increasing $100 billion every single year. These days, students are forced into a pay beyond your means methodology. In the year 2012, tuition came to $62.6 billion. The government, however, spends in student aid through grants, tax breaks, and work-study funds about $69 billion. In addition to this, they also spend $107.4 billion in student loans. As you can see, the government is spending way more money in student aid than they would be if they were simply making tuition free. These days, a degree is necessary for a career. Some students have the capability to get the degree, but do not have the financial means to get the degree. Because of this, we are lacking in skilled and properly trained workers because they cannot afford the education needed to obtain the jobs. Not only is this hurting the individual, but also our nation as a whole. Those who are able to pay for education are then forced to spend the next 10 to 20 plus years paying off the debt that they collected in college. Many would ask, is it worth it? Should we participate in this vicious cycle of going to college to get a good job and then getting a good job to pay for college? While it may seem simple or the solution may seem obvious, and in a perfect world it would be, there are some slight problems. If we're being honest, it would increase government spending due to the increase in tuition and enrollment over time and over the years. However, it is proved that it would be a good investment for the government for the future. Upon receiving degrees, individuals make a higher income. This eventually leads to higher spending, which eventually leads to higher economic growth. Huffington Post asks us to imagine the stimulus effect that $400 billion might have had in the past financial crisis years. While the economic reasons are obvious, we cannot base our argument on these facts alone. Another reason for free education is to allow students who have chosen a certain education to achieve their goals. Education initiatives must be geared to teach skills to get graduates hired by the corporations of America. As college students, many of us have felt the struggle, working multiple jobs, attending internships, also attending extracurricular activities, and trying to make all the ends meet while we're here at college. Meanwhile, we're looking forward to our future careers, and we're working very hard for them. Usually, an average income after graduating is about $35,000 a year. Several students, however, graduate with $30,000 plus in debt. Should we be punished for wanting to properly equip ourselves for our future jobs? The yearly budget for the public defense is $631 billion a year. The cost of making tuition free is $62.6 billion. That is less than 1/10 of the defense budget. Now, don't get me wrong, I am in no way against the defense or the U.S. Armed Forces. I simply gave you this example to put this amount in perspective to the government's large budgets. A few simple changes in the budgets could greatly influence the lives of millions of students across America. A popular question that may be asked is, what about fees, textbooks, etc.? Would this be included in the free tuition fees? To a certain extent, maybe they would. However, Expenses such as food, transportation, and housing are simply a part of adult life and are important life skills to learn throughout your college years. Another concern is the inevitable increase in enrollment. However, one logical solution to this would be only to offer free education to those who qualify. You could do this by assessing their GPA, their high-stakes test scores, etc., things like that. The purpose of free education is to allow those who are pursuing an education for the right reasons so that they will have a fair opportunity to do so. This is not so that the government will pay for unmotivated teenagers to party for 4 years. While this would be a huge change for America, I believe that the pros far outweigh the cons of making college free. Not only will it better the individual, but also the economy, the job market, and our entire nation as a whole. I think it's time we stop punishing younger generations with crippling debts for having ambitions, goals, and dreams, and pursuing a higher education to prepare themselves for their future careers. I believe that college educations should be free in the United States.